Lately, we've been talking a lot about Apex Legends on this show, whether it's the crazy viewing figures this game gets or the darker side with its rampant cheating problem. But today, we're going to be taking a look at a character which some people are saying has destroyed the entire strategy of the game. A broken character which Respawn have recently tried to fix, but which might just be unfixable. Alright, maybe you play a lot of Apex Legends, maybe you're completely new to the game and you want to learn more about it. Well, either way, we've got videos just like this all the time on the channel, so make sure you're subscribed to theScore Esports, that way you'll never miss a video just like this one. Cheers. You're an Apex Legend, mate. Alright, those of you who know Apex Legends will probably already know which character I'm about to talk about. It's Seer. There was a lot of excitement around his release a few weeks ago, the outcast visionary who specializes in stalking and hunting his enemies with the help of his drones. Some members of the Apex community were already a bit skeptical of what the trailer was promising though, that Seer looked a lot stronger than what Respawn was suggesting. And they were right. He turned out to be the single most busted legend the game has ever seen on release. Some people have even said he's the most busted character in the FPS genre. Yeah, it's that bad. Seer is a character that has caused people to seriously discuss whether Apex should implement a ban system, similar to League of Legends and Dota.
I don't know. I don't know what I would want. I'd rather have it Revenant or meta than the Seer meta.
I would too. 100%.
I think honestly, I think Seer might be the character that forces a ban system in Apex, right? Like in comp. I feel like it's absolutely necessary at this point.
And what's even crazier is that according to some playtesters, Seer wasn't this broken when they had the chance to try him out. Somewhere along the line, Respawn decided to mega buff him before release.
Did you playtest, by the way?
No.
Alright. Okay. I was just wondering if Seer was that broken in playtest too. But what I've heard from other
playtested, oh my god. I would not let this character come out. There's no way.
I've heard from other people that playtested that heard from people that playtested that apparently Seer didn't do all that shit at all. He was completely fine in the playtest, like a good character, and then they apparently just omega buffed him before they released him.
On Monday, Respawn released patch notes, which, among other things, addressed some of the complaints about Seer. Now, a lot of people were pretty pumped about this, with some people even wishing each other happy Seer Nerf Day on Twitter. So what the hell is going on here? Well, firstly, for those of you that aren't familiar with Apex Legends, let me explain why this character has had people threatening to quit the game. So Seer's passive ability is Heartseeker, and if you've ever played Call of Duty, it's similar to the heartbeat sensor attachment. A small circle indicates the direction of nearby enemies. If the arrow is blue, then they're nearby, and if it's orange, then they're within 75 meters of Seer. You can also hear the enemy's heartbeat coming from one direction, which further helps you pinpoint their location. Essentially, the passive gives Seer a lot of information about enemy teams without much of a cost to himself. In fact, people were saying that his passive is literally stronger than some other characters' ultimates. Something ain't right there. And even though it's strong by itself, players quickly realized that his passive is even more busted than originally thought.
Alright, because you know how you use his heartbeat sensor and you're kind of slow? Well, here's a little hack that's probably going to get nerfed. Like I said, it's really slow right now, but when you hold your tactical, you can sprint, dude, and get infinite heartbeat sensor. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. Dude, this shit needs to stop.
So in this new patch, the delay between sensor spikes for full health targets is going up to 1.75 seconds from 1.25, and the center circle ellipses are being removed. So that means he won't be able to see people with his passive as often, and it forces more time investment on Seer players when using it. The max detection range is now just 75 meters, and the sensor's field of view has also been reduced. Then we've got Seer's tactical ability, focus of attention. Activating it released a cone-shaped burst which damages and stuns enemies and also cancels any abilities they're channeling, such as healing or reviving. Oh, and it's really loud, like really f***ing loud.
Drawing back is it.
The most busted thing about this though has always been that it outlines enemies who have been hit by it, even through walls. Yeah, it's basically a wall hack in conjunction with his passive. The ability to see an enemy, including their health and shields, through walls is such a glaring advantage when compared to other characters' kits.
Here I come. And then back, and then we got a 1v1. For some reason, this guy is on his own. Alright. We got the information that okay, we saw all 3 legends anyway, but we got the information that Octane's shields got broke from that EMP charge, which means it's just like another piece of information that we know. Like, you just get too much data.
And it's a wall hack that also f***s the enemy up. Sometimes it's like you're not even seeing enemies that are ready to fight back. If they've been hit by the cone, then they're going to be stunned, disoriented, and possibly just had a critical ability cancelled that they were trying to pull off. Apex Legends balance designer John Larson summed this up quite well in a Twitter thread where he explained the rationale behind these nerfs. He said, Seer Tactical, used as a dollar store EMP to farm damage and drain resources, was definitely problematic at high level play. Plus, looking at your health bar and seeing a sliver of it missing for taking damage through walls is a major feels bad. Monday's patch attempted to address this by increasing the detonation delay slightly, and also enemies who are hit by it are no longer damaged or flashed, and also have their screen shake reduced. One of the other things that really annoyed people was that Seer could use his Q while moving at full speed. This has been nerfed by adding movement reduction while holding his stun. Also, the audio of the burst has been reduced, so enemies will no longer have their eardrums blown out and then cry themselves to sleep from the traumatic noise. We're not done yet though. Let's talk about Seer's ultimate ability, Exhibit. Seer creates a sphere of micro drones that reveal the location of fast moving enemies or enemies firing their weapon within the sphere. This was also nerfed in the patch, increasing its cooldown from 90 to 120 seconds and also reducing its volume. Generally speaking, the ult was never really the problem here. It was his wall hack ability and his heal and revive interrupts that really gave people nightmares. And widely speaking, they still exist post-nerf. Seer will still be able to stop the likes of a Loba from teleporting using their tactical or an Octane using their stim. Others have pointed out the hypocrisy of Respawn, who nerf Bloodhound's 3-second scan, but still allow Seer to retain his 8-second scan that does so much more. Now there's a common theme when we look at busted characters from other games. It's not necessarily the numbers that are the problem, it's the character's kit itself. You can add a few seconds to a cooldown here, lower some damage numbers there, but what if the very essence of a character and the utility it brings is just busted?
This is what they did. They practically put Bloodhound's Q as a passive for Seer and thought that wasn't going to be broken at all. I'm telling you, the nerf of that character is not going to do anything because the base concept of Seer is broken. Unless they change like his kit, he's always going to be broken. Like Apex basically just f***ed themselves for introducing a character where it's practically impossible, in my opinion, to make him not OP.
And nobody playing him is the last thing Respawn wants. It's the same thing with a lot of other free-to-play games. Companies make a lot of money from selling skins, especially on new characters like Seer. At the moment, Seer is less than a month old. Sure, he's busted and a lot of people hate playing against him, but that's exactly why a lot of people like playing him.
This guy is different, man. He's like a Bloodhound on steroids. Seer has this heartbeat passive where you basically can always have a ridiculous amount of information by being able to see up to a certain amount of yards away of where opponents are just by aiming in.
According to Apex Legends Status.com, despite a 36% drop in popularity, Seer is still the number 3 most played legend in the game behind Octane and Wraith. He's still really popular, and as long as a lot of people are playing him and buying his skins, Respawn are unlikely to make the sweeping changes that some people are calling for. But let's take a look at the bigger picture here. Apex Legends seems like it has a lot of momentum right now. It's popping off on Twitch, and big names are helping to grow the player base. Over the past few months, we've had massive streamers like Nick Mercs, Tin the Tapman, Tfue, and Cloaksy playing more Apex than Warzone and bringing their fan base to the game with them.
Apex Legends is more difficult than Warzone. It's aiming and shooting just like Warzone. It's positional just like Warzone. It's awareness just like Warzone. All those things across the board. and those things are also in Fortnite, okay? We're talking Battle Royale right now. But Apex has abilities, super fucking abilities and shit, and I think that's a big caveat that you can't ignore. I mean, the abilities, the timings.
You'd imagine that Respawn and EA's #1 priority here is to keep this momentum going. There's a lot of people playing the game. There's a lot of people talking about it. They want people excited for the new content they release. These nerfs to Seer seem like a bit of a compromise with the community. They've weakened him a bit, but as we talked about earlier in the video, it might not be enough. However, others such as streamer Snipedown, who has played a lot of Seer since release, think that these nerfs may be enough to crack his dominance in ranked going forward.
You think Seer is still good, Snipe? Do you feel the nerf?
I definitely feel the nerf, for sure. I think in comp he'll be more viable than in ranked.
Yeah.
I think like the ranked nerf is semi-significant. Like, I think Bloodhound's probably better than him in ranked. I have no mobility. Like, there's not, like, I know I had no mobility before, but like,
So we've talked a lot about Seer as an individual character, but many people have pointed out that Seer is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to talking about the reveal meta. For Season 10, the meta has been pretty much defined by characters who can scan and reveal enemies. Legends who can do that have quickly risen to the top of competitive play, and there's no finer example of that than Seer. And that's not surprising, given how good Bloodhound has been across the game's existence. And the patch does address some of that wider problem. As John Larson put it, real-time info through Geo is extremely powerful in a shooter. He also ended his Twitter thread by saying, Seer has opened our eyes to what sort of information can be communicated through scans. A real-time silhouette for X seconds is different than tracking footsteps or the health bar or the heartbeat passive. There are many axes we can explore, and I know Seer's emergence has expedited the process of revisiting the oppressive parts of the reveal meta to introduce more options and counterplay. As far as release strength Seer goes, we missed the mark. Players should never feel the need to pick a legend/weapon for an entire season just to compete. Thankfully, we're a live game and we can iterate on things. While we can't solve the pain points of the reveal meta in a hotfix, I'm looking forward to jamming out longer term solutions with the rest of the design team. This seems like a hint that Seer may see further changes in the future. The question is, will they be enough to keep people happy, or will we be right back here with another video if he continues to dominate the game? And that way you'll never miss a video just like this. Cheers. You're an Apex legend, mate. You're an Apex legend. God, I'm so old. You're an Apex legend, mate. Why do I do it? No one forced me to write that, you know? I literally wrote that, knowing that it would just be me that had to say it.